Keeps her up at night. When a man loves a woman, that's what we do. knew you were such a reactionary girl. Her eyes became restless and mouth got tense. She must have been ready to begin a new experience, and I was waiting for the rain to fall, but the clouds all passed on by. Oh, now I know I had only been a fool to try, 'cause nothing left you to stop the swinging as far as you can. But it is still ringing before it's all done. You've been through with the world. I didn't know you were such a reactionary girl. Tell her she's lucky. Tell her she's right. It's all this salt water keeps her up at night. When a man loves a woman, that's what we do. We make false starts.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
That's right, you reactionary girl.
That's right. Have a bitchin' summer. See you next fall.
Love that.
Yeah, good one, right?
I love that song.
That's good.
Gail said she recognizes that voice anywhere.
Yeah, true story. That was fun. I used to like doing those, you know, the songs that were, whatever, that they weren't
Well,
Cheap
those are
Trick
for
songs.
Robin's solo
Yeah.
album, and Robin didn't even write that song. Rob,
No, I know.
who did I say? Rob
Oh.
Louder.
Louder.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He must have been in Rat Race. No, he couldn't have been. That would have been Ron Softer.
What?
Nothing. I'm off the end.
And the
It's-
children, hello children.
Yes, hello,
of Luongo.
children.
They are saying they really enjoyed the show last night.
It was a good
with
show, right? I
Brad
mean, you know,
and
come
Colby.
on, and you know, you're looking at pictures of our guest tonight, Lenny Lee. It's always a crapshoot with Angus.
What's
As to
that mean?
who the guest really
Oh, right,
is,
right. Well, yeah, that's why
what their
I always
actual
look it
name
up.
is, and you know, it's.
Yeah, I put in Lenny Ackley and found nothing, so I said to Steve, this guy's name, maybe it's Lenny Ackley, but his stage name
Wow.
is Lenny Lee. So then I put Hindenburg in and looked at who was in it, and it's Lenny Lee.
Sure enough,
Sure enough.
but we don't want to mess with nobody's stuff.
No, we don't. But I don't know where Angus got the Ackley from.
I don't know where Angus gets anything from.
No.
The thing
I
that
know,
the thing that
Angus-
I find most amusing right now is he's at the AT&T store.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not funny.
Yeah.
It's really not. They've
No, it's
been
not
dealing
funny.
with
It's
that for
frustrating.
months, and he's.
So
I mean,
here's
he's
the
so
thing.
good-hearted.
Yeah, he is good-hearted. Well, they're both good-hearted.
Gail said it was fun last night.
Was fun last
really
night,
good,
right?
says Brenda. Laurie agreed. Nice shots, great chairs, says Laurie. Where's the chairs?
No, the chairs were there.
Oh, they were there with the guests from tonight.
Yeah, that's our new thing. Yeah, I mean, this way, you know.
Yeah, Stevie came up with that.
Yeah, well,
Uh-huh. It's like
I'm
you're
working on
at the
it for a week.
concert.
Well,
Yeah, after 2 years, we're changing it up a little.
yeah, well, listen, we always throw, you know, I mean, we try to keep it interesting.
Well, now Chris Chanel says Brad and Kobe music countdown. It's Colby, Brad.
Colby,
Chris.
yeah, but that, you know, that's
C-O-L-B-I.
like the cheese.
Not Kobe. Kobe's like,
no, like
Kobe
Colby,
Bryant.
Colby Jack, or like
But you know what?
Colby,
That's easy to mistake. It's Colby.
but not with a Y.
Gail has both of Robin's solo albums.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, that's not a shock.
No, yeah, really, what a stretch.
You probably
What are you-
have his
what are you
picture
doing
hung
with-
up somewhere
what are you
in your
doing
house
with those?
too. Oh my God, Steve's friend was married, and we went over there because they lived by us. Steve's best friend, actually, and I went into the bedroom with the wife, and she said, "Look at this!" And she opens up the closet door, and there's like a full, life-size.
Don't look over at me.
Billy
I'm not looking
Idol hanging up in her closet door in their bedroom. It was like, whoa. And it was like back at the time of white wedding.
Wave hello to Christ on that highway.
On that blue highway, yeah. I love that song.
Yeah, it's got some good stuff.
Oh, so Gail says the Countryside Boulevard was very hard to find. Yes, we know why. Because it got shelved.
Yeah, that was a drag. And that was all politics and power trips and...
Yep, people with money.
Well, you got to be careful who you piss off, I guess.
Yeah, and you got to be careful who you get in bed with.
Yeah, well, that's...
We learned a long time ago. Don't hang out with bad people.
Don't hang out with bad people?
For money.
Period? Oh, but hang out with them just for what? For
Don't hang out with them, period. We have learned that.
Philosophy lesson here tonight.
Well, we are old enough to know we don't need bad people in our lives.
No bad people.
Russ Scavelli, he says good morning again.
Who said good morning?
Russ
Scavelli.
Scavelli. Last time he came in here, he said good morning. He must play at night.
That was Carmine Rojas.
I know.
Line at the China Club.
Yes, but that was like when we were like in our 30s and everybody was like, staying up till 5 in the morning and sleeping all day. Can't imagine you live on Fort Myers Beach and you're sleeping all day.
If you play it all night,
But that comes from the Elton John song, Mad Hatters and Mona Lisas.
Mona Lisas and Mad Hatters.
Same thing, same difference.
Well, yeah.
Same difference,
Yes,
right?
no.
Sons of bankers, sons of lawyers.
Okay.
Turn around and say good morning to the night. For unless they see the light.
Yeah, well, it was. I'll tell you what. I used to say. We worked at night. That's what everything was. Everything was at night. And what do you do after work? You don't go home, and go to sleep. What?
The Children of the Lawn.
Who's upset?
Laurie Richardson said, oh no, Kitty Tiger said she got out of her chair to get snacks and Tim was in her chair, LOL. That's because you have one of the comfortable chairs.
Yeah.
Tim's got a rocking chair.
You gotta watch. Yeah.
We gave him a rocking chair because he said, I'm going to stand on my chair. So we went, he's going to break it. So we'll give him a rocking chair. That way, if he breaks anything, it'll be his neck.
That's nice of us, wasn't it? Compassionate couple that we are.
Oh, yes. We both thought the same thing at the same time. I think we were meant to be.
So wait a minute. Weren't you trying to get me to stand on one of those chairs outside the Cracker Barrel?
No, I was not.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, wait. As Kitty says, laugh out loud. Normally it is Remy, but that's okay. I always share with Remy. Share with Remy, not Timmy.
Remy,
he's some
man,
funny dog.
I tell you what, it's like he's got his own show. I should just put a camera on
in
him.
his house. Yeah.
He's so quirky and he's such a, I don't know, he's
a creature of habit.
He is really a creature of habit. We have to make sure we don't do the same thing at the same time, because if we stop doing it, he gets like upset.
Yeah. Like.
It's hard to explain. We'll get up, we'll wake up, watch some news, just see if there's still stuff out there.
Yeah, see if the world has exploded or what we have to, if there's a recall on anything.
And, he's in the bed too, of course, down, because he's small. And then all of a sudden he'll just, after about maybe 20 minutes of news, he gets up and he wants to go. Oh, no. The coffee comes first.
That's right. Oh, yes. Steve used to drink tea in the morning. Now he wants coffee, and he used to share his tea with Remy. Like he would put a sip in his mouth and then put a towel under his mouth, and Remy would like lick it out of his mouth like little baby bird. No, not lick it.
That sounds
like
horrible.
Little baby bird. And now,
I would be higher than him, and it's not quite as gross as it sounds. But now he kicks for coffee.
Oh man, he loves coffee.
Then once he's had that, he'll go to the door. Then he wants to go outside. So we walk out of the bedroom door, out into where the screened-in area is, and then you let him out into what we call the dog park, which is his yard. And 15, maybe 20 minutes later, you'll hear.
He must come back in and his bone.
Then he gets his bone, and he
goes
has to
and
hide the
hides
bone.
it.
He has to hide the bone.
Has to hide the
sometimes
bone.
he changes his mind, and it's,
And then we'll be doing yard work, and all of a sudden he'll stand at the screen door, so we know, okay, Remy's hot, and he wants to go swim in the pool while we're outside doing yard work, and he does. We let him in and he just goes and jumps in the pool, swims around.
And the other thing is, if we're if we're taking big limbs down, because there's a lot of trees and stuff, and if we're doing whatever, he's got to get in the middle of it and take one of the sticks with him, he's doing something.
He's doing his work. And
True
Tim
story.
McCullen says, coffee, yes, I let my cat lick from my dinner bowl.
That's close. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like a party, and somebody's here.
Lenny
Come
Lee.
in. Nobody can hear that bell but me. Hey.
I can hear
Hello.
Hey, let me turn you up over here. Hang on. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, man. Hi, Laurie.
Hi, Lenny.
How are you? Nice to meet you, sort of.
Nice to meet you.
That's what you get, man. It's been a while, huh?
Yeah, sure has.
How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've been busy. I retired from a day gig I had, and I've been focusing on music exclusively for about 6 years now. So I'm in a few tribute bands, and keeping busy in my studio.
Cool. Are you there? Is that the studio, or is that the?
Yeah, I'm in here now.
Nice. Yeah, I see Elise's. I'm like the gear slut, so I look around everything. I see on Elise's thing something must be over at the drums, and
yeah. That's my E-kit back there, the Elise's. Yeah.
Okay, and let's see what else I spy. A rack of some sort.
Got a Nectar controller keyboard. It's a project studio. I don't have a whole lot of outboard stuff here, just what I need. I do most of it.
You don't need that anymore, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, well, you got some fans saying hello to you.
Oh, we have fans saying hello to you already.
Mark Visconti said, hey, Laurie, please tell my pal Lenny I said hello. You know Mark Visconti?
Yeah, Mark came out to see me play with Hindenburg pretty much every time we played. He brought his son with him, and he's a real gentleman. He was a pleasure to have around.
Okay, and Steve Kaplan says, hi, Lenny.
Hey, Steve. Steve and I are cycling together down on the rail trail near here.
Cool.
And Meryl Lee Thomas says hello.
Oh, God bless her.
Yeah.
Always there. I post a new song or a video, and Marilee's always there listening and complimenting me. Yeah, she's been a pleasure. Hi, Marilee.
Well, she's here for you tonight.
Yeah. She's one of the children of the lawn, and we enjoy her company.
Yeah.
So man, let's go.
He doesn't know what you're talking about, and
what?
She's not.
She's not?
No.
Oh, she's not. That's
No.
right. Oh, she needs to. Never mind, man.
We have regulars.
Child of the lawn.
We have 10 regular
It was
fans.
a drummer moment.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, there's wires. I'm out here. You know what I mean. Sometimes the reception gets a little dodgy.
Yeah, well, there's that.
So okay, so all right, let's go. So let's go back. Where did it start for you, man? And believe me, this is not an interview.
No.
I don't. That's otherwise. I'm Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, I kind of thought it might go there, and where it started for me, you were very much a part of it. I mean, I picked up the bass in '73 as a high school sophomore, and I had a drummer in my class who said, "I got a band and we don't know any bass players, and if you learn how to play the bass, you can join our band." And I don't even know if he was serious, but I bought a bass that day, and I was in that band within 2 months. And we were playing Zeppelin and Humble Pie and Sabbath and all that stuff. But the first thing I started doing was going to. I was 16 years old by the 11th grade. Got phony ID from a friend who was 18. No pictures on the licenses back then. And I used to go and see you guys at the Fore and Aft. I'd see Rat Race Choir, and you guys just blew me away. I mean, you guys. I saw some national acts. I'd see Queen and Aerosmith and certain bands when they came to Madison Square Garden, but that was once in a while. But I saw you guys all the time, and I was mesmerized. You guys were amazing, and you were into a lot of the same music I was into, and that was a golden age of live music. In that
And
area.
I'll tell you what. First of all, thank you. I'm proud that we touched something somewhere. That's cool stuff. That's the big reward. It's not all the other stuff. It's when somebody remembers what you did, or when somebody is sparked by what you did. And the longer I do this show, we've been doing it for a couple of years now. Because I just miss being on the road, and I miss the camaraderie of my friends, and banging into people on the road, and the conversations that you have over a lunch. You're going this way, I'm going that way, and I always say that the conversations that we have, the conversation that you and I have, going to be a lot different than the conversation that I have with the guy down at the corner store, or somebody that I run into on a golf course.
Yeah.
It's a club, and if you're in it, you're in it. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah. And isn't it funny how you talk about stuff from way back, and you talk about the people that you did those things with, and yet you both have different memories of it? It's funny how that stuff happens too.
yeah, and I mean, I have. If somebody reminds me of something and they give me enough detail from it, chances are I'll remember it.
Right.
But just like somebody say, it's all a fog.
Yeah, but he's saying that some people remember it differently.
Right, so how could they not remember it differently? I mean, I've had people tell me they saw me in places where I've never been. So
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how that happens. Yeah.
But it is. I mean, the mind plays tricks on you, and it's. But it's the truth is, the stuff that I forgot wasn't worth remembering anyway, if you know what I mean. And I'm a lot happier just cruising along. I'm good. Everybody's good. You're good. We're cool.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm looking for a soft landing. Way out there somewhere.
Yeah.
I was into a lot of the same music you guys were playing back then. For instance, I think a lot of people dug this Zeppelin and the stuff you hear on the radio all the time. But I was more partial to like Passion Play, your arrangement of that. I mean, that was creative. You guys really took the best parts of that piece of music and made it into something. And I really got off on that. And then you started doing UK and Gentle Giant. And I mean, a lot of bands could start doing that stuff and lose followers, because they don't get it, But you guys did it so freaking well that you just turned a whole bunch of people onto stuff they'd never heard before,
Well, that's
Did that with his Berlin trilogy. He brought Robert Fripp in, and I'm sure a lot of people were scratching their heads and saying, "What the hell is he doing?" But he turned some people on to a new type of music.
yeah.
But I have a question.
I loved it. I mean, those were the days. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Passion. This has been gnawing at me for a long time. Passion Play, and you guys open up with that those long pauses, and you and Mark especially, you would hit on those crashes perfectly, but no one was ever looking at one another, and I was like, how do they do that, man?
I'll tell you a funny thing about that. Because I actually have a version of us doing it, and I don't remember where it is. You know, I have a video of it, and it used to be bam, 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 and it would speed up, right? And we would just naturally, it's what's the reverse of Rolantando? Anyway, whatever, it speeds up, and then it turn, and you know, you bring it up to the speed. But I used to go bam, 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 and they would be on it. It was so funny. It's just because, you know, it's like twins speaking
I
Esperanto.
have those parts perfectly, but he was looking forward and you were behind him. And I'm like, you know, I don't know how these guys do it, but they do it, you know. That was really something.
You know, it's funny because it's when you're doing it, I don't think you really realize you're doing it. You know what I mean? It's not like, you know, I'm sitting there grooving. I am so in it and so connected to it that it's hard to. It's just such another place for me to go. You know, and I miss that. You know, that cerebral part of it because it's so. Yeah, it's just it's the greatest thing that you can do if you're born to do it. It's worse.
Well, I guess you have to have the right chemistry with the person.
Yeah, it helps if you have, you know, guys that are thinking the same thought at the same time, and everybody's swinging the same way. You know.
Yeah.
And you were playing like what, 5 nights a week at the time too. So
Six
that
nights a week.
becomes
6
all
nights a week.
Yeah.
you know,
No Monday nights.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man, 6 nights, and it never ended. It wasn't like being on tour where you go out for 3 or 4 months and then you're off for the rest of the year to do whatever you want to do. It's not like that at all. For us, once that train started really rolling in '73, it just didn't stop, and everything was perfect. You know, I remember we would play at a place and we were always buying gear. We were always gearing up. It was always, you know, more speakers and more of this, more drums, more of this, more of that. And it got so that we couldn't play some places because we had too much gear. And we were playing in quad, so that's another whole, you know, that was another whole thing back then. And,
Who must have hated it?
well, yeah, to a point, I suppose. I think we've made it the atmosphere pretty good for for those guys. But
Back then, you know?
they might remember it differently.
That's right.
But you know, it's whatever. But and then the clubs started to get bigger so that they could accommodate, you know, the bands that were doing that. It was a magic time. I don't know that you could. I mean, look, you could do something else. You know what I mean? You could, there's certainly somewhere there's some burgeoning something that's going to change the way things are done. We were at that perfect place at that perfect time, and you know, it's become with time. I've become more focused on what we did and so on and so forth, and. Yeah, I mean, it
was a pleasure.
I'm very proud of what we did.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to witness that. And Alan a Day, you know, made it all sound perfect.
Genius,
Yeah,
absolute genius.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the thing, and so think about this. I mean, think about you talk about the spark of all the same right people being in the right place at the right time. Alan was with us from just about day one. From '68 to whenever, and he was so much a part of what we did, and he was so good. He was as good or better at what he did as anybody at any other station in the band, from the lights to keyboards to drums. I mean, Alan was, if he wasn't there, if he wasn't capable of taking what we did and producing it for people, maybe it wouldn't have had that same impact. But absolute, yeah.
Mix was always spot on, and that's him, right?
Oh, yeah.
I got to jam with you once.
Oh.
I was in the Charlotte band. I hooked up with Richie in like '78, and I guess we played Gildas a few. We started out small, but we played Gildersleeves in Manhattan, and we had wanted to get into Gemini and Four and F, but we weren't there yet. But one night we played Gildersleeves, and Tony Molino, who belonged to the Gemini, came down to see us play. And the night we played, during one of the songs, we had a stripper jump up on the stage and took Richie's belt, and she was whipping him with it. And oh, it was freaking wild, man. And the crowd went nuts. And after that show, Tony Molino came back in the dressing room and said, "Listen, I want you guys at the Gemini every Wednesday." For a year and a half, we played there every Wednesday, which was ladies' night.
Excellent.
300 people there every Wednesday. Ladies drank for free till midnight. I mean,
wow.
So, but one time you and Mark were there, and Richie called you up to play drums for.
I remember that actually. I don't remember what we played, but I remember it happening. I remember that. For whatever reason,
I don't remember what we played either, but I remember that it was it was probably Zeppelin or something that would. And I remember that it was extended into a jam, and I got to jam with you, and it felt real. You know, it was so friggin' cool, man.
Cool, man. Oh, well, that's my pleasure. I mean, it might have been, knowing Richie, it might have been going down.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, because I can see us, you know, I can see me going off. If I'm playing with a bass player that I lock with, man, then let's go for a ride.
Yeah, we were locked, and you kind of came over and patted me on the shoulder and said, "Nice job" when you left.
No, I do remember the night.
Yeah, that was a thrill, man. That was really cool. Yeah,
that's cool, man. I'm glad. I mean, you know, we'll have to figure out a way to do it again at some point. You know,
anytime.
Wow.
One kind of funny story. When I got started with Richie, we went out to the West Coast. It was the first thing we did. I think that was maybe '79 or '80. It was before that Gemini stuff happened, and we were in the Bay Area, staying at this agent's house, sleeping on the couch. Dave Bond was the drummer. It was
yeah,
3-piece band, me, David, and Richie, and one of us would sleep on the couch, and the other would be on the floor on a sleeping bag. We had no money. We were scrounging for food. It was like we'd go to the supermarket, and we'd put some food in the fridge. And if anybody went in the other room or went near the fridge, everybody else would be looking at him like, "What are you doing in there?" and Richie taught me a life skill back then during that period where he says, "I got a trick." He goes, "You take a piece of white bread and you bunch it up into a ball really tight. And when you eat it, it's more like meat." Those are the life lessons we were getting back then, you know.
What I remember about, because I did the road with Richie with Leslie, so I remember him being he used to call it iced bean, iced coffee. He used to love his iced coffee, and God, Richie, man, that's funny.
Rolling bread up into a ball and it made it feel like meat.
You know, and the thing about it is, you see, the thing about, you hear it, you know what I mean? You hear, "Oh, we were starving to death and we were doing this." You know, somebody would say, "Well, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why would you go out there and starve to death and lay on the floor?"
Because it was fun.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't, I don't know, was that ever fun? Was that the sucky part of sleeping wherever you could fun? I didn't find it fun. It was romantic in a poetic kind of way.
For a kid, you know, striking out on his own. I'd only left my parents' house 2 years before that, and I was chasing the rock and roll dream. So it was exciting. It was adventurous. Fun, I don't know, maybe, but it was I'm glad I did it, you know.
Most of the time,
man.
You passed out. You didn't really fall asleep. You were
probably
drinking.
You weren't really, So, I mean, I remember we were playing on Fordham Road in the Bronx. This is 1968. The original band, a 5-piece band with Chris Murphy, who was a guitar player, was the first incarnation of Rat Race Choir. We were playing on Fordham Road in the Bronx, and I don't remember what happened, but we still did not. You know, I was playing a double set of Slingerland, but not the big crazy set, you know, and all that. Anyway, and so we had everything in a U-Haul van, like an Econoline or whatever it was. And we're on our way home from the gig, and it's all, I mean, you're 15, 16 years old. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, bang! The frickin' motor on the U-Haul blows.
Oh, man.
And it's like, and it's like, what are we going to, now what happens? Because this is new, right? And we wound up going to a place called the Hutchinson Whitestone Motel. It's the first time I ever spent the night away from home, without whatever.
So how old were you?
16, 15, 16.
Yep.
And I'm staying, we didn't have enough money.
Staying in a bad place.
Staying in a bad place. And it was so bad. I mean, I really was having the time of my life. The poor keyboard player, this was before Larry, Pepe. Poor keyboard player, he just wants to go to sleep. He's scared. He's nervous. We got to use the phone. We're borrowing change to call our parents. And every time the train went by, which as it turns out was right outside the window, the shower went on. I just, I thought that was I thought it was the greatest thing ever. Like, because, here we are. This is it.
And you had a story.
Oh, yeah.
On the road story.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a couple more people saying hello to you.
Right.
Mike Clavana.
Oh, Mike Clavana, yeah.
He was just on last
week.
Week.
Yeah, he told me. I heard him when he was on. Mike's an old friend since school days, and a very good friend.
Okay,
by the way, I heard when he was on, he was talking with you about a night that he was at that house on Bolden Place Road, and he heard you guys. I was with him that night.
Oh, he was sitting outside in the car.
We were out in the car, but we at one point we walked up the driveway to get to hear it better, and we got about halfway up, and I remember the song. It was a UK song off of Danger Money, whatever that was. I remember the song.
The Only Thing She Needs, probably.
Yes, exactly. And then you guys finished it, and then you stopped and took a break, and you came out, and you saw us, and you came over, and you were talking with us on the driveway. So I have that memory,
I didn't ask you to come in, or you didn't want to come in, or what happened?
We were a couple of kids that were trespassing. You know what I mean?
He didn't care about that.
I would have been. Are you kidding? Let me tell you this. This is the thing that I love the most about the success that we enjoyed. That particular time in my life, that particular success. I loved hearing that you used to sneak in to see us play. I used to see kids out back 15, 16 years old watching the roadies loading the stuff.
The club, yeah.
And they knew they couldn't get in, but the club's not open. So come on, you want to see? I used to love taking kids up on stage and letting them walk around. It was one of the biggest thrills for me.
Yeah, Steve Stevens.
Yeah, Steve Stevens used to come, and Al Petrelli and Steve Vai, and it was an honor, man. I mean, you just don't realize it at the time, but I love doing that.
It was a pleasure just hearing you from out there, and it was a little bit of a fantasy, because we saw you guys on stage, but now we're seeing you guys. Look at these guys. They're living in this farmhouse in the woods, a band house with a shed outside where the gear is, and what we wouldn't give to be doing that at that time. So it was cool for us to just get up close to it,
That's, man.
Okay, well,
that guy really it gives me a chill, man. I love that. That piece of property, that was 77 acres. That was a horse farm.
Yeah.
And I remember there were kids.
Well, I'm going to tell you who it is because he's in here.
Is he in here?
It's Bert Heckett, and he says, hello to you, Dr. Lee, he says. But he says, don't forget about the golf cart.
I was just going to tell the story, man.
Heckett.
I wasn't going to throw you under the bus, but yeah, they had a golf cart with bull's horns on that, and they used to drive all on the trails, the horse trails.
To hear them practice.
Man,
You were talking with Michael about that incident, and he thought it was around 76 or 70, and then you said, no, that had to be 78. And the song, and since I remember the song, that was on Danger Money, which came out in 79. So that had to be 79.
Had to be 79, and I'll tell you why. Because Larry was still in the band. Oh God! And Larry, Larry's last gig was in '79, and Gordon lived in that house too because he was so there. So it had to be '79. If we were doing Danger Money, it was probably with Larry still in the band. And I remember one night I always had a dirt bike or something to play with, and I decided to ride it up there one night, right? And Larry, I rode it up to that house, but I was staying in White Plains. Larry and I were both staying in White Plains, and Larry was already up there, and I didn't realize that I had to drive him home. Now we're on it's a 500cc, Honda, but it's a dirt bike, and it's December. It's starting to snow. We're freezing to death on this bike. He's got his big fur jacket on the back. We must have looked like a couple.
Fur jacket.
We were so cold that I had to get up behind a truck so close to just stop the air. It was.
Wow.
Yeah, we have somebody else in here that was in a band with you.
With Lee? With
Lenny Lee. And that is Rex Vette.
Oh, Lex, yeah.
Yes.
Lex.
Yes. Y'all were in a band called V?
He recently relocated to Orlando a few years ago. But he's a hell of a blues guitar player. I was in a band with him for a few years. Sweetheart of a guy, great family, great dad. Yeah. How you doing, Lex?
We bought a car from him in Bearpack.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. He
was very nice.
Took care of me in spades.
Yep.
Nothing I like better than a deal on a car because I drive the wheels off my cars.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those. I got to get a new one every.
No, he gets attached.
Yeah, I get attached, and I know what it is, and it's kind of like a drum set to me. You know what I mean? I know what might break, and I know what's definitely not going to break.
Hey, Mark told me the story about you guys. I think it was maybe after a gig, and you weren't sober, and you were racing your Trans Ams on the Hutch, and you went through that 25-cent toll at like 100 miles an hour or something. And I was like, wow.
We did such crazy. Well, think about this. We're in our 20s, and we're making money hand over fist. So what's the first thing you do? Go out and buy a hot rod, right? I mean. And so, and everybody, Dave and Larry never bought one. He was happy to ride with me. But Dave and Mark both bought Pontiacs, Trans Ams. Mark had a Formula 400, and Dave had the Trans Am, and Skip, our manager, had a Trans Am. But before that, he had a Shelby, original GT 500. So we were all car guys, and I remember Mark loved that Formula 400 so much. It was gold. I've told this story before. And we're on the what's the parkway that comes from Connecticut?
Merritt?
The Merritt Parkway. Thank you very much.
Merritt.
We're coming back from playing a gig. Now it's all idiots. Let's all just drive our own cars. Especially in the 70s, not like there's a gas crisis or anything. Yeah. Let's all drive these frickin' 8-cylinder, 11-mile-a-gallon monsters for hundreds of miles, right? So on the way home, we're on the Merritt, and those big, long, sweeping hills and that whole thing, right? Now, I'm coming over the top of one, and all of a sudden I see lights, behind me, right? And I pick it up. It's frickin' Mark in his Formula 400, right? And so I start speeding up. I'm going to make him work for it, right? So I'm doing about, by the time I get to the top of the hill, I'm doing about 120, right? So now we come over the hill, and he passes me just before we start going down the other side. And he's got it flat out, and he's just blazing. And he passes me so fast and goes so far, because I'm not going to blow my car up, right? And about a half a mile down the road, I see a flash and hear the sound. Like a second later, it was like flash, and
and all of a sudden Mark's
not going anymore. And I got Larry in the passenger seat. I'm driving a Corvette. Can't help you. Oh God.
Yeah.
So yeah. We've had some car adventures.
Yeah.
We're lucky to be alive, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, not that. Ask him about the. Ask him about the time that we were driving home when we had the house in the Hamptons, and we were on the Sunrise Highway, and the guy wanted to race me on a Kawasaki.
Was Mark in the car with you?
Yeah, Mark's in the car. I'll tell you the quick story. It's what it is. We're on Sunrise Highway, and there's like a light, and it goes for a mile, then there's another light, and I got this Kawasaki 900, or maybe it was 11, whatever, one of those frickin' crotch rockets from back in the day, and I'm not gonna burn out. I'm not, gonna slam my clutch and go sideways so you can see what I've got. You've got a frickin' motorcycle, for God's sakes, with 9 gears on it. You're gonna blow me out of the hole, So, I go with them, but I don't buy,
Was this late at night?
Yeah, this is like 4:30 in the morning. So we finally get to, if you remember the Sunrise Highway at all, we finally get to Hospital Road. And Hospital Road is the last light on Sunrise Highway for about maybe 15, 20 miles. And so I said, okay. You want to ride your motorcycle fast? Let's see how fast you want to ride your motorcycle. So now we're at Hospital Road, and we take off, right? And he's like, but now I'm starting to catch up to him because there's no light coming. I don't have to slow down. I'm in fourth. I'm doing about $125, maybe 130. And Mark's going, yeah. And we go like, this guy's like hanging on for dear life on a freaking motorcycle, vibrating his face off, right? And all of a sudden, we had to be doing 130, 135, and beautiful night, clear night, and all of a sudden, way in the distance behind us, I see blink, 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 cop. Fuck.
Uh-oh.
So
just what you don't want to see.
Shit, I said, what about now? I'm starting. It's like a summer night. It's 90 degrees, and I'm starting to sweat because I'm scared to death. They're going to kill me and take my car. And, So we're pulling over on the Sunrise Highway, and I just downshift into first, and all of us, and the cops like right behind us, and it's Suffolk County. It's like you're screwed.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden, the guy on the bike goes, whap, whap, and he is gone. And I'm like, and the cop goes after him. Well, yeah, but there's 12 miles ahead of me, right?
So
but there's only 2 miles behind me to back up. I backed up for 2 miles and got off at Hospital Road and snuck the whole way home.
Snuck!
And every time we had to leave the Hamptons and draw. I'm thinking this cop's he's out here waiting for me. I know. Scared for years. Scared the shit out of me.
Shit.
If the cop got you, you could have done the John Bonham move, where you get out of the car and open the hood and say, "Did you see how fast I was going? Look at that motor." Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I had an experience like that. Larry and I.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell him the Who story.
Oh, no, I'm telling about the Camaro.
Oh.
Larry and I managed to secure a loan to buy a 1969 Pacesetter Camaro.
Yeah, but they were kids now, still in school,
69, right? And so it was a white one with the hugger orange stripes, the convertibles, and we got it. We had this sucker, and we are just going nuts.
Well, tell them how you got it.
Well, I'm not going to tell them.
Come on, Ruby.
We told his mother that we needed to get financing for a van for the truck so that we could make more money. And she came down to Curry Chevrolet and signed all the papers, and but we bought a
Camaro.
We bought an RS, Rally Sport Pacesetter Camaro instead. And hey, bud, hey, hi, say hi to Lenny.
Hey, how are you, dude?
Yeah, my little boy. He's okay.
All right.
What's that?
I've seen pictures of him on Facebook.
Yeah, he's a good boy. He's one crazy bitch. Anyway, so we get this car, and we just drove it nonstop for like 7 days. Just went berserk in this thing. And one of the things that we were doing about 115, maybe 120 on 684, like by where the airport is. State trooper, bang, pulls us over. And he says, "Do you have any idea how fast you were going?" And I said, no, not really. I was trying to be safe and look at the road. And he said, "Well, I'm guessing you were going about $1.25." He said, "This thing's geared up pretty good." And he starts talking, hot rod talk to me. So I said, it's, 456, this, that, and the other thing, da, 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 da. And he said, "I'll tell you what. You got one of two choices. You were going well over 100 miles an hour. I can arrest you, impound the car, or you can let me take it for a spin." And Larry and I are standing on the side of the road with a cop car, sitting on the car, leaning on the cop car with the lights blinking, and this guy's beating the shit out of my Camaro, going up to the airport exit and then back down to 287 and back up past us again. And I was waiting for the thing to explode. But
if you could drive his car while he was
yeah, now that
I don't know, you got a gig Saturday night? Because a lot of people are saying, "I'm going to see you Saturday night."
What's going on Saturday night?
I have a gig Friday night. I just joined the Leppard Tribute. With some really good players. Lee Nelson's the drummer, Alex Barbieri, a young guitarist named Damiano Christian from Connecticut. He's a wonderkind. Plus he's a young guy, so he'll take his shirt off and get up on stage, and he's great. He's great. And Derek Hawkins on guitar, and we're playing Landis Theater in Jersey on Friday.
Where are you playing? I'll tell
Landis Theater in New Jersey.
Landis Theater.
What
Friday.
town is that?
Vineland.
What's the name of your band?
Vineland.
Well, funny. It's name of the band is Def Leppard, but spelled correctly.
DEAF?
Yeah.
You can get away with that?
T-A-R. No, Def Leppard. If you spell Leppard, yeah.
L-E-O-D-A-R-D-A.
That's great. That's freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
That's like being a Beatles cover band and using two E's.
Yeah, right. We call it kick-ass rock for grammar Nazis. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh man.
The following Friday we're in Connecticut, Woodbury Brewing Company, with that same band. So
the tribute thing is amazing. Everybody's doing so well.
These days, yeah, there's some money in it, and it's everybody seems to be doing it. I got a show also with Dino Fregosi.
Sure. Oh, yeah, you got to give him a big hug for me, Dino.
I'm playing with Dino this Saturday in Mayapack. A new place in Mayapack called the Putnam House. I got a nice stage there. So I'll be playing with him and Pepe Aquilino. And so, yeah, I'm still with Dino.
Oh, please send him my absolute best. I love Dino. What a magical guy. I have his single, believe it or not.
I say, yeah, so do I. The 45, right? That came out.
Yellow, I think it was yellow. He wrote on it and all. It was, very.
I'll tell you what, he's still swinging from the chandeliers. He's still the same wild man, that he always was. He hasn't lost it.
He was crazy, man.
He was, man. He is one of a kind. I hope he's doing really well, and you send him, respect and love from me, please. Yeah, great guy, Dino. I mean,
still swinging from the chandelier.
There are guys that do it, and there are guys that live it.
Yeah,
like Richie lives it. Dino lives it. Go ahead.
That chandeliers thing, that's not a figure of speech. The place we played, it's a fairly new place. And over the bar, they got these really nice chandeliers. He jumped up on the bar. He's singing. He's grabbing these chandeliers and they're swinging back and forth. And, my wife is looking at him like laughing her head off. He was taking liberties with their new chandeliers, But that's Dino.
Okay, so where's this? This is Saturday night?
Yeah, where's that?
And what's the name of this band?
It's Putnam House in Mayapack. That's Dino.
Putnam House?
Putnam House, yeah. Dino and the Detonators.
Oh, Dino and the Detonators.
You're a detonator now?
Yeah, I'm a detonator, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's man. I remember, that it just, Dean, right? I mean, I went around the world with frickin' Dean. There's a picture of me and Dean in front of Stonehenge.
Yeah.
And, oh, God, man. I mean, how many of the that was a cluster of people that, that whole up to Danbury and down into Putnam and down to, there was a whole little group of bands and people.
I wrote down Dino and the day Saturday night with Dino and the Detonators at what, Putnam House?
Putnam House.
Okay.
Mayapack, yeah.
Mayapack.
Okay.
Oh, you know.
So I'm in an Aerosmith tribute, Get Your Wings, and we just played in Florida last year. It was supposed to be a televised competition at Bear, which is the ground floor of the Hard Rock Hotel in Hollywood, and an amazing venue. And we went down there and we played. It was us and another Aerosmith tribute, played back to back, and it was wonderful. It was great.
The Hollywood Hard Rock.
The Hollywood Hard Rock, yeah.
Yeah, I did I ever play there? I know I saw a couple of real good bands there.
Yeah.
No, I played the one with Robin up
over on this coast.
Yeah.
Well, it was supposed to be televised competition this past fall, and he got undercut. Somebody beat him to the punch. It was called Clash of the Tributes, and somebody else that this guy that was putting it on, he knows someone that put on another tribute, and they got picked up by the E Network, and they almost used the same name. They were called Clash of the Cover Bands, and they aired on the E Network, and our guy was like, holy shit, so he decided to put it off. He says he's going to air it this fall. So I'll believe it when I see it, but we had a blast doing it either way.
Hey man, that it's in the can. Believe me, content is king. Everybody, there's going to come a time where they're going to say, man, we need something. And
yeah. And Dean was with us, but Dean lives in Florida now, as you know.
Yeah, he's an old Florida guy now.
He was our stage manager while we were down there. He went in, did it for nothing, he just wanted to be on the scene, and he was a pleasure to have around.
Yeah, one of your lights is like blinding me.
Yeah, one of mine is?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
All of a sudden, it's like.
How did that happen?
I don't know, but I'm like seeing spots.
All right, well, don't see spots.
Okay, well, you know what time it is.
Yeah, it's time for me to ask you the mighty questions.
Can I give one last shout out, Russ Gavelli? I don't think I've.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, Russ.
I was in a rockabilly band with Russ right after Richie Scarlett. I was with him for maybe 3 or 4 years, and I tell you, Russ, man, if you ever get a chance to play with him, he's amazing. He's unlike any other guitar player that I've worked with. Russ, if somebody calls a song and he doesn't know it, he'll say, just start singing it. And he'll figure out the chords on the fly as he's going. And he does it, and he does it quick. I mean, he knows his music, and he's got an ear, and
It sounds like. Do you ever get down here? Do you ever see him when he's in? Because he's in Fort Myers.
He's 10
Fort
minutes
Myers
away
Beach.
from us.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes from here. 15
to my
minutes.
eternal shame, I never saw him in his years in Key West. I wish that I had. I do plan on seeing him down here now. Because
let's do a little math.
Yeah, he's in Fort Myers Beach now.
Russ plays guitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're the bass player.
Mm-hmm. And
Wow.
Steve's a drummer.
Oh wait, I have my emergency sticks right here.
Okay.
I'm ready.
This is. I'm going to hold you to this, Steve.
That's going to be tough to do. Hard to do. As long as I won't die from going there, I'll be there. I mean, that's, it's. I don't want to go to the COVID party, but I'm dying to play with real people.
Dying, you just said it.
Yeah, dying.
But I got to hand it to Russ, man. He was up here, and he decided to leave, and he went down there and went to Key West, and he lived his dream, man. He played music for a living, and he always said, he told me he dreamed of being a ship captain or something, and he was taking people out on charter boats, and everything he ever dreamed of doing, he did it down there.
But think about it, man. I mean, that is the dream. The dream is not to have a gold toilet and live in a stupid house. That's not the dream.
Yeah.
Dream is to do. Who said funnest the other day?
I don't know. Oh, what the tennis player?
All right.
Naomi Osaka.
Oh, right. Naomi Osaka said the funnest thing she could ever do. When somebody gives you money for doing the funnest thing that you could ever do, you're going to keep doing it. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, we're laughing. We're saying, they're giving us money. It's, come on. I'm doing it alone now. Because, because there's nobody. Well, whatever. But no, hold me to it, Lenny. Man, come on.
It'll be a blast, man. Absolutely. And you guys live very close to each other now, right?
Yeah, like I'm telling you, 15 minutes. I mean, we're 20 minutes tops. I mean, he's down in a nice part of the world down there. And, God, I mean, I had no idea about him and Laura. And I just, and I know Laura from the Skirts and all that whole thing. It's just, what a weird, beautiful cocktail. And there were little pockets of that all over the place. It was fantastic. So, anyway, so are you ready for the big questions?
I don't think I was given the question. I don't know.
They're easy.
They're really not that hard, man. they're easy questions. You're good at math, right? No, man.
Geography?
Okay, what was the 62nd state of the... No, it's simple, man. I mean, it really is. It's favorite meal on the road. It's easy. When I decided to do this show, I wanted to end it with the 5 questions. That way, it's you ask the 5
like
questions,
inside the actor's
and
studio.
I'm ripping off James Lipton, so it's listen, that's what we do. So the 5 questions are very easy. Your favorite restaurant on the road. So wherever you went, and whether it was a Steak and Shake in Maryland or whatever it was, favorite restaurant on the road.
Geez. Okay. Daryl's, man. They had a great prime rib down there in Florida. And not Daryl's house, the Rock.
No, Daryl, the steakhouse.
Yeah, that stands out to me for some reason. We got the prime rib there. It was aged. It was wonderful.
What part
Daryl's.
of Florida?
That's on the East Coast, I think. Right?
I've never heard of that.
It was near Orlando, I believe.
So no, I'm sorry. Then it must be another one. So all right, so that's Central Florida. Very good.
That's good to know.
See, got through that. That first one's easy.
There you go.
This one's easy too. Doesn't matter what band, it doesn't matter what era. The set list comes out, and there it is on the set list. Your favorite song to play live. What's your favorite song to play live?
Ooh, okay. I don't know. There's Beatle tunes that I love. I'll say She's So Heavy.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Beatles thing? The Beatles 1, 2, 3 or whatever that is. That's on Disney Plus.
The documentary.
Get Back, Get Back.
Yeah, I did. It was one of watching Paul write Get Back in the moment. The song Get Back in the moment. It was like give you chills, right?
Yeah, but they were doing the thing that they were writing stuff. What was the last album before? It wasn't Revolver. It was Abbey Road.
Yeah.
They were writing stuff that was going to come out on Abbey Road, which came out before Get Back. So it was a little... But I got to tell you, that's what it felt like. And this is why I would have been so glad to see you guys in the driveway. You saw those guys in the studio? That's exactly what it was like in that cabin. Exactly.
Changed perceptions of what people thought the Beatles were like towards the end, because everybody thought that John was brooding and Yoko was interfering, and I saw a lot of smiling and brothers like having fun playing music still.
Yep.
Well, what happened, what really happened was after Kit Lambert died, there was no, they had George Martin in the studio. But they had no...
Kit Lambert?
Not Kit Lambert.
Brian Epstein.
Brian Epstein, sorry.
Yeah.
Kit Lambert was the dead manager from The Who. Sorry.
Yeah, different one.
I get my dead managers.
Different dead manager.
I get them.
Yeah,
confused. But once they lost him, they didn't have anybody leading the way. And so what happens with all bands is the A-type personality... if that happens to be the person that has a gift or the gift or whatever, it goes that way, and that never works. Whatever, but I don't think it was.
But yeah, they did look. But it was weird when George all of a sudden said, "I think I'll be leaving now."
I'm telling you, man. They weren't in the cabin on Baldwin Place Road, but I'm telling you that when I watched that, I was getting
flashbacks.
It was the weirdest thing. I felt like I was back there in that situation where you're like looking for parts and one guy's playing and I'm back there and I'm hitting my stick. No, shh, stop tapping.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
So that's the glorious life. All right, next question. No, wait.
Lay it on.
Song he likes to play
Right.
is a Beatles song.
All right,
Song
that's
you
right.
never want to play again.
Song you never want to play again. Here it comes on the set list. Oh shit! What's that song?
Well, it's a song that I only played with one band that I was in. It was Sweet Home Alabama. It's a nice enough tone. It's got a nice beat. People love to hear it. They'd request it. But for me, it was hokey. And when I did play it with that band, I'd always have one eye on the door, hoping none of my rocker friends walked in and heard me doing it.
Okay, all right.
All right.
I got that.
That's a good
I got
one.
that. That's a good one.
Yep.
Very good. All right, now, bass player by trade, but if you could play any other instrument in the world, not just rock and roll, but anything, ice bells, the flugelhorn, and you could shred at it, what would it be? Can't be bass, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm kind of a multi-instrumentalist and I play keys. As a matter of fact, in Hindenburg, I took up keyboards to be in Hindenburg. I got proficient to do the John Paul Jones stuff.
Nice.
I can play keys, but I'm not a monster at it. Luckily that Zeppelin stuff, you don't have to be Keith Emerson to play those parts. But if I could be a master at something, I'd probably like the grand piano.
Yeah, well, a lot of guys say that, and especially a lot of rhythm section guys, drummers and bass players, because it's such a, it covers a lot of ground.
Two hands, you accompany yourself. So
it's amazing. When I see those guys do that, everybody says to drummers, how do you do 4 or 5 things at the same time? Those guys are doing 10 things at the same time.
You know who's surprisingly good on the grand piano? Richie Scarlett.
I think I knew that. And I'll tell you you're right. We were on the road with Leslie, and I don't know, there was a piano in one of the, we check into a hotel and whatever, and we go into the lounge, and there's a piano, and he sat down and started playing.
Didn't he have one in his house?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of the good ones. I got a few Leslie stories, but I'm sure you got enough for your own. But that appears there's no time anyway. So,
okay. Well, listen, that's what Free for All Fridays are for. Yeah, did Angus tell you about that?
He did, yeah.
Okay, good. So that's any Friday just drop in.
My winger story too. I didn't get to my winger story.
Oh, come on, bring it.
Okay, I back in the 80s when Winger was big and they were on MTV and all that, I foolishly dismissed them. I thought they were another hair band like Motley Crue or Poison, and I didn't really follow them. And it wasn't until 2014 or so I stumbled across a video off their new album of a song called Tin Soldier, and it was progressive, and they were playing live in the studio, and I was blown away. And I was like, holy shit, these guys are amazing. Then I went through the back catalog, and I'm like, holy crap, I missed all this. And then I heard Kip Winger's solo albums, and they're different altogether. They're more spiritual. They're kind of Peter Gabriel-like almost. And, so and he just won a Grammy for classical composing,
Really?
Yeah. So anyway, the story is after I became a fan of theirs, I went to see him at the Chance in Poughkeepsie, and I'm standing in the front, full house, balconies full, and I'm watching them, and they're amazing. And at the end of the night, Kip puts down his bass and looks out in the crowd and says, are there any bass players in the house? And I wasn't going to volunteer because I don't know how to play any Winger songs, but everybody around me was pointing at me and getting his attention. And the next thing you know, I'm going over to the stage door right, and it kind of felt like I was walking to the gallows because I didn't know what they were going to throw at me, you know what I mean, in front of a full house. So I got up there, and turns out it wasn't a Winger song. They played Ain't Talking About Love from Van Halen, which was simple enough for me to just make my way through it, no problem. But, Kip was pulling me up to the front and singing the Hey Heys with me, and Reb and the other guitarists were coming grooving up against me, and Rod was smiling at me. They made me feel really welcome. And for me, I was such a big fan of their work. It was just to play with them in front of a full house. It was a magical moment.
That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, it's great. We were talking about. I had a moment like that. We were talking about it last night because we were doing jukebox heroes, about the history of the jukebox, and My Girl was one of the top 10 songs on the jukebox, and I was a partner in a venue where the Temps played, and I got to go out and sing My Girl with the Temptations.
Wow.
So you want to talk about stepping into the gallows?
Yeah.
It's amazing to do that kind of stuff.
I do.
I did well. I did good.
Yeah.
There's a great picture of it that was in the paper too, and Ron, the only original guy was Otis, was from the Temps, of yesteryear. But Ron, who was the oh God, what's his name? David Ruffin, is standing next to me because they are hoping that somebody's going to come out on stage and go, "I got sunshine," and I love the Temptations. I know every inflection in that song. It happens to be in a good key for me. And in the picture, you could see Ron going like, "What?" Yes.
Yeah.
So it's so I get it, man. And Rod, your Rod, mine was Ron. Your Rod, he's been on the show a couple times. He's a great player. Great player.
I heard him with the Dregs, and yeah. And Angus tells me he's a sweetheart of a guy too. So.
Great guy. Great, really.
Oh, by the way, I saw that picture of you with Todd Rundgren making the face, and I laughed my head off. I'm a big Rundgren fan, so I saw that. I was like, oh my God.
You got to come in Friday. I'll tell you Rundgren stories that'll just burn your brain cells out. I did the better part of a year with him and John, and he was I had a blast with him. I mean, I remember he showed up, and I haven't shown this picture because I know once I show it, it'll go like frickin' viral. But he showed up and bought us all hillbilly teeth.
Yes.
And there's pictures of Todd with these frickin' hillbilly teeth. It's so funny. Yeah. John Entwistle wouldn't put him in. I would have given $1 million to see that.
Yeah.
But Todd was
had him, yeah.
Oh my God! He bought him for everybody, Todd.
I never saw him do that. I've seen loads of pictures of him. Never saw him looking like that, and you were standing right there with him.
Oh, of us being crazy. Yeah. Well, we did.
They were pretty stoned.
Yeah, we were very stoned. I used to get whatever. I used to get deliveries of weed that was like compressed. When they do it in the vacuum thing and it compresses down and it looks like jerky, right? And so we started, we would get so ripped on the bus for like hours and hours. He would start calling it stupid jerky. He was fun. I had a good time with him.
What is he, 70, 71 now?
I guess, yeah, it must be. He's a little older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Touring his ass off now,
Yeah.
Gotta hand it to him.
Yeah, no, he's great. He was fun to play with. I tell you what, it was. And I'll tell you the thing about Todd. And then we'll get to the grand question, which is a good one. But the thing, when we were in rehearsal for that tour, we were doing 3 of everybody's songs, right? So he had to do "Hello, It's Me." And he had to do
Ringo. Was this a Ringo show?
No. This was Abbey Road.
Abbey Road.
This was me and Entwistle and Ann Wilson and
Alan
Parsons and Todd and David Pack and it went. We went all the way. It was a long, big tour. We went to Japan. We ended it in Japan.
Yeah.
But we're in rehearsal, right? And he's got to play "Hello, It's Me," which he just doesn't even want to.
Right.
Sing that anymore.
Right.
And bang on the drum, you know what I mean? You're getting to play anything from your catalog, and you have to play those. So he said, we couldn't decide on a third song, and I said, how about "Open My Eyes" by Nas?
Yeah.
And we did it. We opened every show with it.
Yeah.
It was frickin', talk about awesome. It was so...
Well, we had Chasm Sultan on the show, and Steve told Chasm the story, and he said, that's a good one because Todd loves playing that song, so that was a good one to pick.
It was great, and we did it good too. I mean, it was a big band, all the harmonies were there. Don't believe that it's on your mind. It was great, and the time changes. It was great.
You know that Chasm is doing that Chasm's Utopia tour.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw him at Daryl's house. He's amazing. The band, you know, you think, well, how good will it be without Todd? It's amazing.
Well, he has got Matt Beck in the band.
He's got Matt Beck playing with him. It's, you know, that covers a couple bases. That's a good band, man.
Actually, guitar.
And you know what? The thing about it is that he lived it. It's like he's, you know, at least he's calling it Chasm Sultan's Utopia. You know what I mean?
I'm sure he's got Todd's blessing because, you know, they've been together so long, you know.
Yeah, man. But still, he's not. Whatever, you know, listen, we don't need to go there. You got to come in on a Friday, man. We got way too many stories to tell. I will crack you up with Todd. I want to hear your Leslie stories because I always need a good new Leslie story. I'll tell you the last conversation I had with Leslie West. 3 weeks before he passed away, calls me up and he says, "Steve, I'm living in Florida now." I said, "Great, man. You finally made it there. Great. You know, how you doing?" He goes, "I got one fucking leg. How you think I'm doing?" I said, "Okay."
He was happily remarried to someone else named Jenny.
So yeah. But man, and then 3 weeks later, he was gone.
Yep.
But that's, you know, that's showbiz.
That is.
So, okay, you ready for the
question.
big question?
Okay.
And thank you for being here, man. This was fun. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Absolutely.
Well, we should do it. You know what? Invite Dino. I'd love to have Dino on the show. Get all the Guccine, everybody. Anybody that wants to be on the show that feels like telling stories or wants to hang, let me know. Hook them up with Angus and let's get it.
You wanted to get people from that scene up there, the Westchester Putnam scene.
It would be great. Yeah. I don't want to put you to work, but if you see somebody that would be good, mention it to them and pass them to Angus.
Okay.
All good. All right. So anyway, last question, and this is fun. It's kind of an interesting one. But if you could do one show with anybody or any combination of guys, living or dead, who would it be?
Living or dead. Good one. I guess I'd say Todd. I'm leaving out Paul and John, and there's about.
They can be in the band. You can have them in the band.
You can put a combination.
Any combination of guy you can. First of all, I hate to tell you this, but it's probably not going to happen. So just lose your mind. That's the whole point. So it could be Todd. You want Paul and John.
I'd like you on drums, Steve.
I'm there. I'm there. I'd be there.
And I'd like Kip Winger to be involved too, because I've become a big fan.
Okay, Kip. I know him remotely. I did a rock and roll fantasy camp with him. But
it'd be good to have Alice Cooper on board because they say he's got some great stories and he seems like quite a gentleman.
Yeah.
This sounds like a good band.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I would pay to see this band.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be the bass player. I'm not hungry.
Gotta be the bass player.
Yeah.
But you could be the outrageously talented piano player.
Ah.
All right, so I'll give you something to chew on. Hey man, Lenny, this was really this flew by.
Yeah.
It's good to see you again, man. You look great. I'm glad. We already have all your shows, so you're gigging. That's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
We'll make sure that we send some people out to represent.
I already posted them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one last plug, I guess, is for my music. I got 2 solo CDs out. They're on Bandcamp, lennylee.bandcamp.com. And I've got video. I'm into video production now. So all my recent songs, I made videos for them all, and they're on Lenny Lee Music page on Facebook.
Wait,
cool.
Where are the CDs at?
LennyLee.bandcamp.com.
Bandcamp?
Lenny.com.
Lee.bandcamp.com. Okay,
Actually,
got it.
One of the CDs is there, which is downloadable, and the rest of the stuff on there is a bunch of single songs that I've done earlier time. I got another CD in the can, but it's not up there yet. So,
hey man, we're all about promoting. That's if you can't help a brother out and get a couple sales. I just was lucky enough to sign a 2-record deal for cement whistle rarities that I have, and I'm actually going to do, after however many years it's been, a solo album. So it'll be mostly stuff that's
Jim
probably.
Roberts. I didn't mention Jim Roberts. I was in a band with him. I know you recorded the Torque album
Oh, wow.
in his place in Somers, and he's got a great new place in Colorado now. But
Have you been there? Have you been there?
I've seen the pictures of his new place, but I'm in touch with him regularly. And a sweetheart of a guy, amazing keyboard player, total
Yeah.
gentleman.
And he had the real Hammond, man. I mean, he was. We made some very important music at that Brandon Post in Somers, man. He's a monster of a. He's a very talented guy. I like him very much. He did a lot of great things for me and
Marie, his wife.
And as it turns out, I have to give her the disappointing news. We're related, Marie and I.
Yeah, her maiden name.
Her
is
maiden
Luongo.
name is the same as mine.
Oh, okay.
And as it turns out, I wasn't expecting this, but my father's side of the family, all of a sudden they decided to do the family tree, and now I know way too much.
Yeah, but he's related to anybody with that spelling.
Anybody with that spelling is from my tribe, I guess.
That's
or whatever
right.
it is. Lenny, man.
Yeah, pleasure, Steve.
Let's rock, man. Come on down. You, me, Scavelli.
I'm in. I'll make plans.
Have a great weekend playing.
Yeah. Have a great time playing. Have great gigs. And even if you're on Friday night, if you're in the dressing room, wherever you are, come in on your phone. I have people coming in on Fridays from all over the world.
Yeah.
Now she came in from Italy. We have a guy who comes on from Aruba, another guy from Antigua.
He's watching, by the way. It was the bass player for the Good Rats, Lenny Cocky. He's
Cocky.
watching tonight.
Yeah. Oh man, I got another story about him, but
You do?
Come on.
Oh, we got to hear a
Come on,
Lenny
gotta
story.
hear this.
one of the biggest gigs Richie Scarlett Band had done was we were playing at Speaks opening for the Good Rats, and I had my car with 4 ball tires on it, my amp in the back, and I got 2 flats on the way down. And the second one was when I first got on the LIE. No cell phones back then. So I slept in my car on the side of the LIE, never made it to the gig. Steve Rossi was our guitarist, and he had to switch over to bass. He had to borrow Lenny's bass. And I heard that Lenny was back by the soundboard, and he said to the guy, "That looks like my bass he's playing." He goes, "Wait, that's my strap." Yeah, so we got, those guys were cursing me. It was out of my control, but they were cursing me because the place was mobbed. It was Speaks. And I didn't make it to the gig because my car broke down. And
Lenny, he was playing your bass. You hear that?
Lenny, we finally caught him, Lenny. We've been looking for this guy for years.
Every Friday.
Man, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a very quick Speaks story just because it's funny and because you mentioned Alan a day. By the time it got to that point, the crew would show up and they would do line check, and there really was no sound check. We would just walk in, an hour before the show, half hour, and we would play. And so we had this thing in the truck. I never really was big on, where the gear went or where it came from, as long as it was where it was supposed to be. We had this thing that they referred to as a distro box. I mean, the thing was massive, and it was obviously homemade, right? And I said, "Well, what's in there?" And they said, "No, nothing, wire." And what it was jumper cables from a car that went into whatever the hell it was that Alan invented, and he used to tap right into the mains before the fuses to get all the power for all those crowns.
No.
And one night, he took out the whole block. Somebody said to me, do you remember the power outage? And I'm like, "Yep, I sure do."
Yeah, he was like a genius.
He was an evil genius, Alan.
Yeah.
Too much.
All right.
Well, that's going to do it, pal. This was lots of fun. I really appreciate you being here. You got to come in on a Friday.
We have Booker King, another great bass player that's usually here on Fridays.
It's bass players, drummers, and
sound
and,
men.
yeah, a lot of sound guys. Got a lot of text coming.
I'd reach out to Angus to figure out how to sign in on a Friday.
Same thing. It's the same, just the way you got in tonight. It's the same key.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You got remember the Playboy Club? You got that key?
Yeah. So save this email then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but if you lose, he'll send it to you again.
And it's the same time.
Yeah, and everybody loves, if you're backstage at whatever it is, or you got crazy people,
We have Stuart Copeland's roadie that's been with the Police for 40 years. He came in from the wings.
Do you remember
of
Godspeed?
show.
Do you remember the band Godspeed?
Yes.
So Jeff Sykes, the drummer, comes in all the time. Been working with the Police and Stuart for 41 years. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, let's.
All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna go.
dinner.
I'm gonna do dinner, and I hope I want to see you soon, man. Come in any Friday, even just to stick your head in. Give Dino a kiss, and whoever else you see.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Steve. Appreciate
Oh man,
it.
thank you for being here, Lenny. It was a lot of fun, man.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye, Lenny.
All right. I'll talk to you soon, bro. Thank you. Take care. Well, how cool was that?
You turn on your mic? Yeah.
I hope so.
All right. Well, that was
Green,
very
isn't it?
cool. Yes. Very nice guy.
Great guy. Yeah, I remember playing with them.
But that's funny.
But I still don't remember what we played. But I remember, I forgot to ask him.
Well, he's coming in Friday.
Yeah, I'll
night.
see him Friday, or I'll see
Or
him Friday.
a Friday.
Or we'll see him. And you guys, Westchester people, got to represent. If you're anywhere close, please go in.
And he was with Mike Clavana in that car that was
Right.
listening to you guys in your driveway.
I love that.
Okay, and Lexa wants to do the show.
Oh, Lexi, absolutely, man.
All right, call. Hey, well, we got to hook him up with Angus.
Well, he can get Angus's contact. The only reason, Lexi, that I don't do it myself is
okay, I'll tell
it's
him.
to keep it fresh. You know what I mean?
Angus McEachern.
Because the minute that we get on the phone, it's going to be story time. So, man, I would love to have you on.
I'm going
That would
to tell
be
him
great.
to contact Angus.
Yeah. Well, Lenny can put him in touch with Angus.
Well, that's true.
Can't get much past her, huh, kids? All right.
Okay, well, so tomorrow night is Anything Goes Wednesday, and we have your request.
What request do we have?
Well, Mark Visconti wants Rat Race Choir, Any Way You Want Me. Gail wants a Xander song, but not a Cheap Trick song. And Chris Chanel wants a drum solo, but one that you've never showed before.
One that I've never shown. Okay.
Okay?
Can do.
All right,
I hope you got
we
time.
got that for you tomorrow night.
Listen, man. As always, guys, this is a lot of fun for me, and it means the world to us that you choose to hang out with us for an hour, or in this case, an hour and 20 minutes, or an hour and a half. If you
Good
got
night, children of the lawn.
If I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.